Well, thank you, Ryan. It's always a wonderful opportunity for all of us to come together. I want to say thank you for your leadership as chair of the University Senate this year. As you and I have discussed on many occasions, collaborative governance is central to a successful university experience and the role that UND's faculty and staff must play in making UND the vibrant institution that it is. I want to say thanks to all of you for attending this afternoon, this University Council meeting, and this annual State of the University address. We have a lot to talk about today. Now, much has changed since the last State of the University address. One such change has been the historic shift in the way institutions in the North Dakota university system will be funded by the state of North Dakota. And in addition, there are lots of new faces in the office of the provost, among UND's deans, our faculties. So it's become increasingly clear that the university, all of us, will be evaluated more and more by our institutional stakeholders on our collective performance as an institution. Now, in general, these changes are both desirable and very welcome. They present both opportunities and challenges to our university. I believe that using the guidelines of exceptional UND, we're quite ready to accept the challenges and the opportunities that are inherent in the value statements behind me, inherent in enriching our student experience, collaborating, gathering, expanding UND's presence, and enhancing the quality of life. Now, as you know, this year the university completed a comprehensive, very thorough self-study as part of the Higher Learning Commission's 10-year reaccreditation. And just a few weeks ago, we had our site visit. For 3 days, a 5-member team examined the campus to learn what they could about UND and to validate what they had read in our self-study. By all accounts, it was a highly successful visit. The site team members complimented the university on the thoroughness of the self-study, on the campus and community awareness of the importance of this visit, and on the many, many strengths of UND. I was pleased to hear that many of the comments made to the HLC team members were connected to the exceptional UND roadmap. And as always, the team members were limited by HLC policy on their comments about their visit. I think they made several side comments to us that were very encouraging, but we will receive a final report sometime this spring. Until then, we can all take pride in the hard work that went into the self-study process and the HLC site visit, and use what we have learned to continue UND's progress. Many, many people, more than 150, were directly involved. They played very important roles in this process, and there are 3 that I'd simply like to single out. They spent the past 3 years living this entire process and guiding it with skillful leadership. Joan Hawthorne, Patrick O'Neill, and Donna Pearson. Congratulations and thank you. Patrick tells me that if you haven't yet read the entire 306-page self-study, I would recommend the executive summary. You can find a link to them on the Provost webpage. And by the way, we can all take some satisfaction in the fact that UND is one of the first universities to file a self-study report and supporting documents entirely online, no hard copies. So when you read the report, you'll find that while we do many things exceptionally well, there are still some other things that require more attention. Now, UND can also be proud of what has been accomplished over the past few years through the Exceptional UND Initiative. But let me be clear, all of us at UND have a great deal of work ahead of us to meet the challenges and the opportunities that confront the university. I'm confident that we will succeed because I believe that faculty, staff, and students care about this university and are willing to work on the priorities that will get UND where it needs to go. I also want to continue to emphasize that we must do our work on behalf of the university together. All of us need to be part of the journey that moves us from great to exceptional. Now, since this is a State of the University address, it's somewhat traditional to comment on institutional strengths and achievements. There is a great deal that I could say about UND in this regard. All of us know about our programs that have achieved national and international recognition. I could spend hours talking about students, faculty in all of UND schools and colleges who continue to achieve at the highest level. But there are some new stars rising on our campus. A few evenings ago, Marcia and I attended the opening night of a chorus line. Now, kudos to all of the faculty, all of the staff and students in the Department of Theater Arts and the faculty and students in the Department of Music who produced an excellent show. Emily Cherry, Ali Angelone, Lauren Leopold, Emily Witkus, all of the members of the line and the orchestra, terrific performance. And speaking of music, I want to compliment Director Rob Brooks and the student members of the Pride of the North Band, all of the ensembles in the UND Department of Music for their continued dedication to serving as ambassadors for the University of North Dakota. The same goes for the students who dedicate time, energy, and their own resources to the several cheer and dance teams, the spirit teams that complement UND athletic programs. It's all too easy to take these people for granted, so thanks to all of you for helping make an exceptional UND. I'd also like to look ahead a little bit and comment on some of the challenges that UND will engage in the immediate near term. And to do that, I want to take a few minutes to share with you some issues that directly relate to UND's mission, teaching and learning at an advanced level. It's important that we review the university's relationships with stakeholders, including state government, to say a few words about the institution's financial condition, review briefly the planning for the facilities that we need to assure growth in academic programs and student success in those programs, to comment on enrollment and the management of that enrollment, and some of the developments that will strategically assure the success of our students in the academic and research programs at UND. Now, on a statewide level, UND has excellent relationships with the legislative, executive, judicial branches of our state government. For example, UND School of Law recently hosted the annual visit of the North Dakota Supreme Court. We also enjoy productive relationships with our congressional delegation and with our State Board of Higher Education and the North Dakota University System. We work very closely with Interim Chancellor Larry Scogan, who's providing clear, goal-oriented leadership. I was pleased to join him last month during an editorial board meeting at the Grand Forks Herald. Chancellor Scogan continues to build an open, collaborative relationship with the presidents of the campuses in the university system and with all constituents of the university system. The positive, productive relationship that you enjoys with state government, I believe, is directly responsible for the significant appropriations from the last legislative session that supported workforce initiatives in both the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences and the UND School of Law. Both schools have capital construction in the architectural and engineering planning phases, and the campus should see groundbreaking on both building projects within the coming year. In addition, on Friday of this week, just a couple of days, UND will host the North Dakota University System for the grand opening of the UND NDUS IT building on the west side of campus. Please join legislators, the State Board of Higher Education, and the Chancellor for this event, Friday at 9 o'clock, and participate in a tour of the new facility. Let me shift a little bit to talk about budget and revenues within the university. All in all, I think it's very clear that the University of North Dakota is in strong financial shape. The Higher Learning Commission Composite Financial Indicator reflects institutional financial strength, fiscal reserves, bond ratings. UND earned a score that did not require any additional review of UND's financial position during the recent site visit, a data point that will be reviewed on Thursday by the State Board of Higher Education. In addition, UND continues to administer revenues from multiple sources: state appropriations, tuition and fees, grants and contracts, and the university's auxiliary businesses. They continue to all benefit the institution. As an example, UND has continued to use revenues from all sources to provide state board approved increases in compensation for faculty and staff, 4.5% across the board going into fiscal year 2013-14. It's interesting to note that these increases have permitted UND to continue to close the variance between UND and AAUP average faculty salaries by rank for every year since 2002. Furthermore, as you undoubtedly know, the UND Alumni Association Foundation completed the public phase of the Spirit campaign with pledges exceeding $24 million. We know that not all of these gifts are in the bank yet, ready to produce immediate results for the university, but with careful stewardship over time, this endowment will grow. It will benefit students, faculty, our academic programs, and our facilities for years to come. An important part of a research university's funding also comes from grants and contracts. UND has in the past earned about a fourth of its operating revenue from its research enterprise. However, nationally, grant funding has been negatively impacted by reductions in congressional investments in research and development and the budget sequester. Overall, UND, along with other national research universities, has experienced a downturn in the number and the amount of research awards to the institution. But there have been some increases that I am pleased to relate. For example, this was the most successful year ever for research awards received by the School of Medicine and Health Sciences. The school recently was awarded UND's second Center of Biomedical Research Excellence, or COBRA grant in epigenetics, to complement a similar grant in the neurosciences. The new award is for $10.5 million and includes collaborations with scientists from multiple departments across our campus. I might add, too, that this has been a highly successful recruiting period for the School of Medicine and Health Sciences, with 28 faculty members added in 2 years. The new Masters of Public Health program, a collaboration with UND's sister institution, North Dakota State, continues to flourish and is building more collaborative relationships across the campus, especially within the College of Business and Public Administration. Overall, though, we are down significantly in grant support. We need to do better in this arena. And to that end, to build our research, innovation, economic, and workforce development capabilities, I'm directing Provost DiLorenzo to begin the process of working with staff in the Office of Research and Economic Development, all of our deans, our chairs, all of our faculty, to define and prioritize our initiatives, our degrees, our certificates, our programs that have the greatest immediate impact on UND's research enterprise. Now, although UND is financially sound, expert consultants have advised us that we should consider some revisions regarding management of the institution's fiscal resources. Our historical method of budgeting doesn't allow for fiscal practices that some other high-performing universities use. And to this end, I have charged Vice President Brecky and the Provost to examine UND's budgeting practices toward the goal of increased efficiency and flexibility for program growth and enhancement. For example, UND needs to make better use of fiscal analytics, and UND must make more strategic allocations of resources to strengthen academic and research programs. On the master planning front, UND also has some work to do. The North Dakota legislature provided $1 million to the North Dakota University system to put a master plan in place. The university system recently hired Rick Tonder, who has been our Associate Director of Facilities Planning for several years, to head up this planning initiative. And in this new role, I think Rick will be a tremendous asset to UND, since he knows the institution and its potential very well. As for our campus, we have completed the first phase of a space utilization study, which focused on instructional space. The information provided in this study will augment a separate campus master plan that's intended to be undertaken in the near future. As with many campuses, student success and the space for collaboration are limited. Clearly, the task ahead for UND is to find ways to integrate available space into learning environments that support student-to-student and student-to-faculty collaboration. The next phase for space planning will be connecting the data to growth of academic programs. Put differently, these data are needed to understand how best to serve students in classrooms, laboratories, seminar rooms, and interactive learning spaces, and to connect these facilities with the faculty and the staff resources needed to enhance academic programs that reflect a constantly changing institution. Clearly, space and facilities will be conducted in tandem with the enrollment management strategies that I'll discuss in just a moment. Let me digress just a little bit. I believe that UND should acknowledge some recent successes in our capital construction activities. Last week, we celebrated the official receipt of a Platinum LEED designation, Leadership in Environmental and Energy Design designation for the Goretzky Alumni Center. This is a brilliant example of energy efficiency, sustainability, green practices at work. And the Goretzky is the first platinum level building in the North Dakota University system, and I believe it's the first such platinum alumni center in the world. It's become one of UND's go-to places for meetings, receptions, other gatherings. UND continues its leadership in energy and environmental sustainability, so we bleed green in lots of ways. In September, we broke ground on the new UND Athletics High Performance Center, an indoor practice and competition facility. All True Health System provided a $9 million leadership gift for that project, Shields providing $1 million. And in the words of UND Athletics Director Brian Faison, this new facility, which will have a 100-yard artificial turf field, a 300-meter 8-lane track, spectator seating, and eventually a state-of-the-art academic center, will be a game changer. UND thanks everyone who continues to support UND athletics and the facilities required for student athletes to compete at the D1 level. And earlier this year, the 2013 North Dakota Legislature approved funding for a new $122 million four-story building for the School of Medicine and Health Sciences. This is the largest state-funded construction project since North Dakota first became a state in 1889. The new building will provide a striking visual presence for the Gateway Boulevard entrance to the campus and will be transformational as the school continues to focus on health workforce development for all North Dakotans. Legislature also approved $11.4 million for an addition and renovation to North Dakota's only School of Law facility. The school continues its focus on preparing practice-ready attorneys who are much needed in our state. Both projects are on track. We're looking forward to breaking ground next year. And soon we'll begin work on a major renovation to the Wilkerson Hall Dining Center. Also on the horizon, a collaborative energy complex in the College of Engineering and Mines. Already much of the funding has been secured for this important facility, but more gifts will be needed to get a shovel in the ground and thereby provide the experience that students need and that will be expected by the energy industry of UND's graduates. Oh, and I have to mention this. The bridge over the English Coulee should be finished by Christmas. And yes, that's Christmas 2013. But as important as all of these capital projects are, they're only part of our primary focus, which is on the students who are UND's primary reason for being. We have to make enhancing the student experience the beat behind UND's daily rhythm. We have to constantly rethink what we are doing and how we're doing it. And again, I emphasize that this is the responsibility of all of us. We must all address the many issues that are part of enhancing the student experience. So to this end, I want to continue my remarks this afternoon by defining some of the plans that UND is making to enhance the student experience. UND is administering the second largest enrollment in this institution's history, 15,143 students. Includes a significant increase in the number of graduate students and the planned for increase in students through the Healthcare Workforce Initiative funded by the legislature. 2 programs which have received a great deal of media attention in the past few years, continue to see outstanding growth. The Petroleum Engineering Program and the Unmanned Aircraft Systems Program. Other programs are also doing very well. I'll mention UND's Distance Education Program as one example. However, to support the State Board initiative, Pathways to Student Success, we need to focus on creating a university environment, a culture of student success. And that means we need to admit students who are prepared to succeed. For many reasons, this is the right time for us to strengthen our admission standards and to place focused attention on strategic enrollment management in recruiting and working to retain highly prepared students who will reach their educational goals as efficiently as possible and to their benefit. I do believe this is the right approach. Students will benefit from being in educational settings with other high-achieving students who are focused on reaching their educational goals. Well-prepared students will be better able to effectively manage their progress toward completing degree programs, which will mean a decreased debt for many. Faculty will also benefit from working with goal-oriented students, and the university will benefit in several ways, including having students and graduates who perform well on multiple national measures, such as the GRE, admissions tests to professional schools, professional licensure examinations, and so on. In addition, UND must enhance the academic quality behind the student experience while keeping costs under tight control. Clearly, it's to the benefit of the university and to the economies of our state to graduate the best informed citizens possible, but with as little debt as possible. And I want to address another important reason for working toward enhanced student success. During the last session, the North Dakota legislature enacted a major change in the funding mechanism for determining state support for higher education. Fiscal resources will now be appropriated based on a funding model that provides a weighted dollar amount per completed student credit hour. This process uses only completed student credit hours as measured at the end of each biennium. The model also includes rewards to institutions for students' progress towards graduation or degree completion. So it's clear that not only is UND's funding dependent on the success of its students, but it also challenges all of us to achieve these goals while continually increasing the quality of education being provided at the institution. Now, addressing some of the issues I've just outlined, you're going to see several new initiatives on our campus. One is already in place, the Strategic Enrollment Management Committee. Chaired by Vice Presidents DiLorenzo and Reeser, the committee includes other vice presidents, deans, student leaders, and university council presidents there. I've charged this group with the development of strategies that address enrollment goals across all of the academic programs of the university, undergraduate, graduate, and professional. And this committee is already hard at work on areas such as creating a common course scheduling system, an early alert system, and reducing the time to graduation by streamlining the process of completing graduation requirements. And one of the tools that will help us in this work, iDashboards. UND has already developed some 60 of these very compact visual ways to display and analyze key performance metrics. I want to take just a moment to demonstrate a couple of these iDashboards so you can see how readily they can be used for academic advising, tracking academic records, and perhaps of greatest usefulness, a very ready analytical means to track what the institution is doing and how well the institution is serving its students. So I'll see if I can advance this. Here's a dashboard. Beautiful visual analytical tool, and you can sort of work your way through it. What this one is addressing is the returning rate of students from fall to fall. So we're talking about undergraduate, first year, full-time, degree-seeking freshmen that return from their first fall semester to their next fall semester. And you can get a sense of what's going on in terms of national comparison. You can see that this is data as of the 4th week. You can compare running in this ribbon, starting in 2007 all the way through 2012, total number of students that we're talking about and the percentages of retention from fall to fall. You get a breakdown by gender for 2012, 77% female, 74% male. You get a breakdown by ethnicity based upon how they represent fall to fall retention. And then you can look at such metrics as the ACT range for that year, the high school graduate GPA range for that year based upon success here and less success here. And you can look at, for example, the rate compared to peers. You could do statistical analysis if you wish, but you can see where UND sits relative to peers and relative to national data. You can then also click for more information, for example, barriers for the freshmen, and you can click for college or program retention rates specific to this cohort of students. So we believe that these iDashboards are going to be very, very, very beneficial in helping us analyze how better to enhance the student learning experience. Now, in the coming weeks, you'll be asked to participate in creating new initiatives in recruiting, marketing, and retention. And retention, by the way, doesn't mean making courses easier. It means helping students succeed. Faculty and staff all need to play a role in understanding and implementing best practices, influencing student retention and graduation rates. To this end, we're creating an online catalog that will provide students with real-time information on their course progress and their course availability. This online catalog will also help students with degree planning. In addition, we're creating software programs to identify at-risk students so that advisors can intervene early and keep students in school. And I've charged the provost with finding even more innovative ways to adapt high advanced technologies, something along the line of the massive open online courses, MOOCs, that might assist students in their progress through their degree coursework. In addition, we're also working to eliminate what students have long called the Twomley Shuffle. That seemingly endless journey through the maze of offices over in the administration building. The university is working on the development of a student services center. It's also known as the one-stop shop, where staff members using both physical and virtual tools like these iDashboards will assist students with any questions that they might have. We're preparing staff to handle questions related to financial aid, parking, transcripts, other functions within the registrar's office, student account services, virtually anything that touches the life of a student and their experience at the university. The purpose is to assure success of the student and to accelerate degree completion at the university. Well, now, what excites me about this strategic enrollment committee is the role of the provost and the other academic leaders. For many decades in higher education, the operating approach was that student affairs staff were responsible for attracting students to the university, and faculty in the academic affairs portfolio were responsible for teaching them. The reality is that we are all to play a role in every aspect of the university. Such compartmentalization is incompatible with successful collaboration within a highly functioning university. So in summary, UND is taking a very fresh look at everything that we do to assure student success. We're looking at how best to construct our academic programs. How do we advance our strengths? How do we work together to resolve issues so that we can move the institution forward? How do we ensure that we're providing incentives for creative and innovative thinking? Many of our marquee programs were the result from imagination of very entrepreneurial people. And how do we make sure that we have the diversity and the inclusiveness that has to be part of our thinking? I'm very happy to report that we're advertising a new position, an Associate Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion. We must find ways to make multicultural diversity and inclusiveness a part of our institutional DNA. So in closing, it's clear that we have a great deal of work to do to fulfill the promise of exceptional UND. But I'm confident that we can succeed with that work. We have a strong collegial leadership in place, including deans and department chairs. The institution is enjoying some of the most productive academic faculty and staff in our history. UND has identified its exceptional UND priorities, and is making excellent progress in achieving them. We continue to be creative, innovative, entrepreneurial in the strategies that we use to approach both challenges and, more importantly, opportunities. North Dakota is in excellent financial shape, and so is the university. We're able to provide outstanding educational opportunities and services for all of our students, thanks to a thoughtful, dedicated, forward-looking faculty and staff. So in all the ways that assure success, together, we are building an exceptional UND, and I thank you for all that you do for the University of North Dakota.